Welcome to Chai After Dark, everyone. I'm Shabnam, and I'm here with my co-host Sameem, as always. Sameem, what's up? How was your birthday?
My birthday last week? Really?
Yeah.
It
was a few days ago. Or
No,
actually, by the time this episode comes out, it'll have been like a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
It'll be like a week and a half. It was pretty good. Sophie and I hung out all week. We went to a couple concerts. We went to dinner. We went to Comic-Con, which was a fucking shit show. There's so many people here waiting in 8 to 12 hour lines. So we only waited in one line and we got lucky. We got to go into Doctor Who experience. So overall,
interesting.
I did so much stuff for my birthday. It was kind of insane. Like I can't just go through all of it, but I did want to tell you that I ended up seeing Bloodywood that we talked about on our last episode.
Oh, yeah.
Thursday night in San Diego. They put on an amazing show. Super crisp. All the guitars are legitimate. The vocals sound good.
And they're a
Indian heavy metal.
South Asian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
So they're from New Delhi, Bloodywood. Everyone check them out. They had this thing where you could pay $75 or $100 to go onto their bus for 20 minutes. And then I asked Sophie if she wanted to do it. And she's like, no, I don't want to do that. Because she's like, they're all like rock stars and drinking. But I don't think they are. I think they're like super down to earth looking at their Instagram stuff. But I've been following them for like 4 or 5 years. It was super random that they came to San Diego. They're getting pretty big. So that's what we did. But the night before, we went to another concert called Streetlight Manifesto, which is a ska punk band from New Jersey. They disappeared for a while. Man, their mosh pit was out of control. I've been to so many concerts in my life and I'm in my 40s. I had to like protect Sophie the entire time. Everyone stunk like shit. I had to put my arms up like this and the people kept bumping me. It was wild. I picked up a couple dudes and threw them into the crowd surfing with like 2 other guys. So we did a full array of mosh, crowd surfing, and everything last week. Yeah, it was really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday. It sounds like you enjoyed it.
Closer to 50 than 40.
Wow.
This is the new 50.
That's a milestone.
Is it? Fucking old.
I mean, I think 40 is the new 30. So, you know.
Really?
40 is the new 50.
I feel pretty young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
40 is the new 30, so
yeah,
50
right.
is the new 40. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it when you turned 40. It's the new 30.
Yeah, totally.
But I also remember when you turned 30. So what was that? The new 20?
Dude, yeah, that was 20 for me, honestly, because my 20s was a shit show of school and trauma. So I don't count my 20s.
Welcome to the South Asian world. That should be, hey, let's retitle this movie A Nice Indian Boy. 20s equals trauma in school. That's what they say.
Yeah.
That's literally Indian kid is like, my whole life is fucked. I'm a doctor.
Yeah, that's crazy. So today we're covering A Nice Indian Boy, which is a 2024 movie. So we're not throwing it back that far. And it is with Karan, Soni, Zarna Garg. We'll have a little tea time at the end. So stay tuned for that, where we're going to talk about the actors and some of the backstory there. But this is a interracial gay love story between an Indian man. I was going to say boy, but he's, I don't know, what is he? And he's in his 20s.
Yeah.
So an Indian man and a white man, and the whole Indian wedding and all of that good stuff. So yeah, we're here for it.
It's kind of interesting. It's like, it's a great movie. Like, it's funny.
Yeah. It's so funny.
It's an hour, 40 minutes. So it's a quick watch. It's free on Disney Plus or Hulu. Mm-hmm. So everybody go check it out. But the only thing I'll say, and I texted you right before this, they pack in every Desi stereotype you could possibly imagine. Like,
yeah, it was almost too much. I was like, save something for another movie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, seriously though, what do you think? Because we're gonna get into it. Every single scene is almost. I understand there's a twist where there's a gay white man as the love interest, but that's the only thing that's out of bounds. Everything else is so South Asian, so Desi.
It's typical, yeah. So typical, yeah.
But I liked it. Whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into it and we can talk about all the things as we go through. So basically we start out with Arundhatiya and Manish's marriage, and it is a big wedding. Arundhatiya, the bride, is the main character, Naveen's sister. So of course everyone's dancing, and the song they chose is Badtameez Dil, Manina Manina. That's
I mean, I've heard it, but the only I didn't recognize the song. I thought you were going to come here and be like, they started with a banger.
It was a banger.
There you go. Hey, maybe we'll drop 12 seconds of that.
Yeah, maybe we should. All right. So Naveen is the gay brother of the bride at this wedding. And he's dreaming about bringing home a nice Indian boy, just like his sister. So his family knows he's gay and they're accepting of him, but he's never introduced them to a boyfriend. And he's never introduced the community to the fact that he's gay and or a boyfriend either, because this guy comes up to him and is like, I'm a great wingman. Do you want me to introduce you to a girl? And he's like, no. And he doesn't really say anything. He's very self-conscious of it, which I'm sure it'd be interesting to get more perspective on this, because you'd think if he told his family, maybe he'd be less self-conscious, but the community is kind of insane. I don't know.
I think it's the same thing we always talk about where, yes, maybe you can tell your family, but they keep it a secret.
Yeah.
Community doesn't know. So Karan Soni's character, Naveen, at the end of the movie, they reveal, it's not a reveal, but the way that he told them was, I'm gay, and then he took off for 6 years. So, which is exactly how a Desi person would tell their parents that they're gay. They're like, I got something to tell you. I'm gay. And then they fucking take off. You deal with it for 6 years. And I kind of understand why the parents were super upset throughout the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So after the wedding, Zarna Garg plays Naveen's mom, and she calls him on the phone the next day while he's at work, and she talks to him about a movie with gay people to try to like relate to him.
Yeah.
She tells him 2 gay people met and boom, they're kissing. Is that what you do? I don't want you to get into trouble. And he makes this excuse that a mom is in the ICU and he has to go. And she's like, maybe I should come to the ICU so I can spend time with you. You can tell she's like really trying to put her best foot forward and relate to him, but it's sort of missing the mark. And he's
It's somewhat insulting, though, the way she speaks to him throughout the movie. Like, she's super overwhelming. She's the patriarch, not the matriarch of that family, right? Like,
she wears the pants.
She wears the pants, and the dad is beaten down, right? That's a great storyline, by the way. Like, it's very subtle, but that by the end of it, it comes out where she carries the movie. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But she also annoyed the shit out of me throughout the entire movie.
Yeah. She's doing too much.
Well, I mean, she watches Out TV, though. They're watching Out TV throughout the whole movie, it's like a recurring gag. I loved it. And then end of the guy comes on the TV screen and he's like, I'm looking for that daddy dick. And then the dad is just sitting there watching Out TV. So this is how they're relating to their son.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's wild.
Damn.
It's things like that where I'm like, I don't think that's realistic.
What, like a Desi uncle would sit there and watch that?
I don't think a Desi uncle would sit there and watch a heterosexual sex scene with his heterosexual kids. It's not a PDA culture, right? So I don't think they would watch it. It's not about because it's gay. I just don't think they would watch PDA.
Yeah, any sort of sex reference, drug reference, alcohol reference, some Hindu culture and all Muslim culture, it's out of bounds. You can't even make a joke about it in family gatherings. I agree with you.
We also don't.
Right? I think like they are trying to show the parents being silly.
Yeah, a lot of people also don't kiss at their wedding. You don't seal it with the kiss, right?
Did you?
So, no. So, okay, it was funny because, so he had to explain to his family, obviously, like what's going to happen and stuff like that. Somebody from his side asked, like, oh, you're not going to seal it with a kiss? And he's like, well, it's just like a cultural thing. They don't do that. So we sealed it with putting the rings on. Because I'm like, I don't want to go passionately kiss Brian in front of my like dad's brothers.
Yeah, but everyone does that.
It's not a South Asian thing. It's not.
No, I didn't do it either.
I didn't do it either.
So, yeah, of course. Actually,
they don't need to see that.
They don't need to see it. I agree with you, dude. When I first got married, my first wedding, this is 20 years back or something. I remember I did kiss my daughter's mom on the lips, but it wasn't like passionate. It was like a quick peck so the photographer could get it. And then I turned around and I saw my mom looking at us and she did this. And I remember
she shook her head.
Yeah, she shook her head without like with the slightest of smiles, like just you heathen. No tongue involved.
That's funny.
I agree with you though, like passionate kissing in front of your family members, but that's a different culture. Like I could see like they kiss at
I
the
don't want
end.
to see any of my cousins like passionately kiss their person. I don't want to see my my siblings. It's gross. I don't want to see my aunts and uncles. Yeah, no, not interested.
I think the difference is, this is going to get us in trouble, I think, but white people, white culture, not just white culture, fuck, I hate saying that. In the culture today, like in the United States or in Western culture, whatever you want to call it, dating is implied, right? When you're a teenager or when you're younger. So I think the difference between me and you and our cultures and how we grew up versus our siblings is that they witness their close family members dating continuously. And they have all their boyfriends and girlfriends that come to the house, come to family events. So by the time they get married years and years and years later to their 50th or 80th person they've dated, they're okay with making out in front of their family. I think that's really all it is. It's a culture thing, but it's a comfort thing. They grow up with it.
Yeah.
Like they're making out with their teenage loves at their house. I'm not saying they're doing it in front of the family. I'm just saying it's there. It's not against the rules. It's not like that bad or anything like that, but in our culture it is.
Yeah. It's not that it's bad. Like obviously, like all my cousins, my siblings, my aunts and uncles, my parents, everybody has kids. It's not like there's some mystery about what's going on, but I don't know. I don't want to see it.
No, I agree with you. I'm not arguing anything. It is funny, Naveen's character, when Jay goes to meet his family in the middle of the movie, he does say, do not say anything about sex. Meat, because they don't eat meat, alcohol, and definitely no PDA. And then the first thing Jay does is rub his head in front of the family. But that's like
rub
later,
his head?
Like he rubs Naveen's head like this in front of the family
when
they first go meet them.
Yeah.
He's like,
that's a little light though.
It's pretty light, but it's still pretty like, it's still lovey-dovey.
Yeah.
Pundi shundi.
It is, yeah.
Have you ever heard that? Pundi shundi?
Only from you.
That's a real thing,
Flirting.
dude. Hey, if I'm not Pakistani, I'm nothing, even though I sound like this. I know exactly what pundi shundi is. It sucks because my sister does it with her husband, and we get all fucking weirded out and mad.
Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you this: did you do PDA with your wives when you were married to them individually in public places, not in front of your family?
Well, my first wife, I don't remember. I'm going to be very honest. I don't remember what we did. But my second wife, she would always gaslight me that I didn't do PDA and stuff. And now I realize I was the one that was trying to hold her hand when we would go to the mall or go wherever. But PDA, kissing and stuff, no, not at all. She wasn't like that either. What about you guys?
Yeah. If our family's not around, a little bit.
Acha? Acha? You hear that, family? Your heathen of a daughter is close to her husband. God. How dare she?
Well, I'm trying to accommodate his cultural norms.
Yeah. So. I don't know. Do white people like PDA? Like I said, my white wife wasn't into it. And she was white. She was so basic white, right?
It's normal for them to hold hands in public, rub your head or your back in public, or it's normal, right?
Yeah.
So
when I first met my second wife's parents, 10 years back, I remember we were sitting at San Pedro Square in San Jose, and then we're sitting, me and my wife or not my wife at the time, but whatever. Me and her were sitting next to each other, and then they were sitting across from us, and she grabs my hand underneath the table, and she's like, "You're allowed to touch me." She said that to me in front of her parents. Yeah. And I'm
Wait, your second wife or your first wife?
Yeah, the second wife, yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay.
She's like, "You're allowed to touch me." And I was kind of like, "Well, but touch you where?" We're sitting at a dinner. I can grab your hand maybe, but she had grabbed my hand under the table and that was about it. But I think she was so excited for me to meet her family, and it kind of reminds me of this
She wanted
movie.
You to show affection. You know what it is? I feel like white culture, when you meet the family, they want you guys to show affection so the family can see that you guys care about each other. Whereas that's not a thing for brown families. Brown families are they want to know, what do you like? What do you do? What's your family like? They want to know all this other stuff. They don't need to know or see that you guys are physically compatible. The assumption is that you are.
Yeah, you're totally correct. And they're going to ask questions like, what does your family do? Remember when they asked Jay what he does? Yeah. He's like, I'm a freelance photographer. He's like, no. What do you do for work? So they don't care about PDA, and love isn't going to get them through. And then Naveen's mom throughout the movie is basically like, you have to adjust. You have to adjust. You have to adjust. So you're totally correct. Like, we're looking for two different things when cultures clash. And a Desi uncle is not going to like it if some dude is PDAing his daughter. He's going to like it if the dude says he's a doctor and he's stable and all this bullshit.
Yeah. That's funny. My dad has dementia, but when I was telling my dad I got engaged and then I showed him my ring, he's like, oh, that's nice. Don't get married just for the ring. I was like, okay, Dad, thanks.
He's right about that. Even with or without dementia, he's totally correct.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah. All right. So where were we?
The defining scene, how they meet. It's pretty quick in the movie. Right? It's like the quickest scene, but it's like, you tell it first, and I have some thoughts.
Okay, so Naveen goes to the temple to pray to Ganesh after work, and lo and behold, there's a random white guy in the temple, and Naveen's getting all tingly, sitting there trying to concentrate on his prayer, but he's
getting horny in the temple. Let's just say it.
Yeah, yes. And then obviously he rings the bell, because I think that's what they do when they're done with their prayer, and then they leave, and then he left. So that was that. But then, Naveen's sitting there all, like you said, horned up.
Yeah, let's just stop there. So that scene's only like 30 seconds to a minute 30. I don't know how long it is. So, okay, this is, I wanted to tell you this part. I watched this movie with a date, which is a lot different than watching it by myself. I wanted to tell you on the podcast.
Okay. So how was that?
So I've met this girl like 4 or 5 times in like 3 months, because you know how I do. I haven't seen her since like mid-June. No, I think I saw her when I got back from Chicago one time. So I got kind of sick Friday night because I went out with my basketball team, and I think I got food poisoning. So I was so sick all day Saturday. So I still took a walk and stuff, but I barely ate. I like threw up water when I tried to drink water.
Oh,
like I was so sick. And then, so you know me, I flaked on her. I was like, we can't go out. We were supposed to go to dinner or something. Yeah. And then I texted her back and I was like, I'm kind of sick. Do you want to just come over? I have to watch this movie for the podcast. Do you want to watch it with me? And she said yes. So she comes over. So we watch it right away. And then in this scene right here, I pause it because I had to go to the bathroom or something. And then she's like, that guy's really ugly. Who do you think she was talking about?
The white guy.
Yeah. I felt really good.
Really?
I felt really good.
I didn't think he was ugly. Wait, okay. Can I ask what race that your date was?
She's super white, super blonde, very San Diego typical. She's not from San Diego initially, but she's embraced the culture. Like she skates on the boardwalk, Like,
okay. He's not ugly.
He's not ugly, right? Yeah, that's what I told her. I was like, he's actually like a really good looking dude. I think he's actually gay in real life as well, but I stopped it and I'm like, really? She's like, the other guy's so cute. And I was like, Naveen?
Oh my God. She's just flirting with you, okay? That's what's happening. I
understand she's flirting with me, but she's like, I don't look like Naveen. Like, I understand we're the same complexion, but
you're brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if that makes her turned on, it's cool with me. But she said Jonathan Groff looked too like basic, too put together. And she's like, I wouldn't trust a guy like that if I met him. He's too perfect. And Naveen says that in the next scene.
Yeah, but also he's gay. He's not straight. So I agree with her for straight men. I don't think that applies to gay men.
He's like the chillest, dramatic gay guy I've ever seen portrayed, because he's like, they're saying he's drama filled, and he is, but he's like extremely chill drama filled. Like his voice never hits an inflection point that's higher than when they first met. I don't know. We watched the whole movie and she had so many questions about arranged marriage versus not arranged marriage. She had a lot of good points, and she's like, I kind of understand this arranged stuff.
Interesting.
So that's why people just need their minds blown a little bit. You know what I mean?
I mean, dating is hard for everyone, right? So everyone's just looking for like, hey, does this other way have any chance of working? Sure, I'm open. At this point, I feel like people are just like, whatever works. Naveen tries to reconnect with his previous white boyfriend by sending him a voice note. He's a total dork. They're basically drumming into you that this character's a dork. He's like, hey, Ben, how's it going? I haven't heard from you in a while. I guess you've been eating an apple a day because you've kept this doctor away. And then he responds to like, so lame. So lame.
Dorky.
Yeah. And so he responds to all his texts in the same like snarky dorky manner. And then he goes and he whispers to himself, this sucks. I sound like Jeffrey Dahmer.
He does.
Like, what
he
the
sounded
hell?
like a serial killer.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Man, can you imagine like leaving a voice note for someone you're not even dating anymore, and you're like, he literally, and then he says, I was talking to my mom today, and I remember you said you want to talk to your mom more, so I thought I'd call you. That's like his connection. I was just
so
like, holy
crazy.
shit, this is the unhorniest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, so insane. He's got no game for sure. So the next day at work, the doctors have to take their portraits for the hospital. So Naveen's bestie at work, a hilarious gay Asian guy named Paul, says, I've heard the photographer's really hot. So when Naveen gets his picture taken, he meets Jay. And what? It's the white guy from the temple. What a coincidence. Fireworks.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. So the photographer, Jay, asks him out and says like, hey, do you want to come to this movie with me on Sunday? And it's not just any movie. It's his dad's favorite movie, which happens to be Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge, or DDLJ.
Yeah. It's a great movie.
Great movie. Great movie.
So
but after...
Here,
go ahead.
In between these two parts that you're about to describe, my date last night was like, how did he know he was gay? They didn't meet at the temple, she said. She's correct.
Yeah.
She's like, what's
but
the body language? She's like, how would you know? The guy took the picture, looks at Naveen, and is like, hey, you want to go out with me on Saturday? And then that other guy storms in, the other doctor, and he's like, why are you guys taking so long? So then, what do you think? Like, how did they know?
Well, because I think the way Naveen was acting during the picture was, totally nervous and sweaty palms and like attracted. I think so. I think he was acting like that.
You're saying he was acting gay. But I'm saying
I'm not saying
Naveen.
he was acting gay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he was acting gay. I'm saying he was acting attracted to Jay, and that's why like Jay was like, well, if he seems like he's attracted to me, I'll ask him out.
Yeah, let me see. So I go out and about, right? And I've gotten a lot of girls' phone numbers. I never text them, right? But dudes, I have gotten dudes' phone numbers out, which is really strange. But now someone told me last week, they're like, dude, you talk to everyone, and then for the most part, they think you're being friendly. But when you talk to guys out, they think you're hitting on them. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to make friends.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's what I mean.
I don't know. That's why I'm like, this situation, what if one was gay, one wasn't, but the other dude said yes just because he wanted a male friend? I can see that happening. What would be wrong with that?
Well, then they would have gone to DDLJ and they would have realized it's a mismatch because one's thinking romantic and one's not. And then they would have had a conversation. Right?
That'd be pretty wild. A straight man ends up in a date at DDLJ with a gay white man that grew up with Indian parents.
Yeah.
And then my date after they walked out of the movie, which I think this is an amazing scene when they walk out of the movie. She's like, wait, how did we get here? They were just at the photographer doctor thing. And I'm like, yeah, this movie skipped some steps. Like it just got into it.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they come out, like you said, and Naveen's hella confused. He's like, so do you watch a lot of foreign films, or did you just bring me to watch this one because I'm Indian? I feel like that's what he was getting at. And then Jay's like, well, my parents adopted me and they're Indian. And so then it kind of all starts to make sense. And obviously that's why he was in the temple and all this kind of thing. So during this scene where he's having this conversation with Jay, they're also flashing between Naveen having a conversation the next day at the doctor's office with his gay bestie at work, Paul, and they're talking about the date together.
And then it's a flashback, right? He's like describing the scene to the Asian guy, but it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Describe the part where he starts singing.
Yeah, so then Jay starts singing. He's like, Tujhe dekha hai to jana sanam. Pyar hota hai diwana sanam.
Dude, I started singing it.
La, 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 la.
Yeah, I started singing it on the couch, and she's like, what? I was like, I know all these songs. I was turning her on all night, dude. You're right. I think you're right. She's like, this guy's already brown, and he put on a brown movie, and he knows the songs. It was game over from there. Nothing happened, and I don't think I'm going to see her again.
Oh my God.
You know how
okay, how anticlimactic.
I know, sorry. At the end of this podcast, I'll tell you and the listeners why.
Okay.
You know how I got to get my thoughts in order.
line.
I don't really know. I'm actually thinking about her as we do this. So This is a very I can do two things
Therapeutic.
at once.
Yeah. All
Let's
right,
go.
cool. Okay. So it was funny during the scene because Naveen, I feel like, almost broke the fourth wall by looking straight into the camera. I feel like they must have shot this like 80 times because how this white guy could sing this song with any kind of decent accent and on the street and then them not burst out laughing like 80,000 times. I would kill for the bloopers.
Maybe we can email Karan and ask him. Like, just be like, hey, are there any bloopers? Like, you're totally correct. But by the way, Jonathan Groff was in the original Hamilton. He's an amazing Broadway singer. So I wasn't surprised that he was able to bust that out.
Yeah, for sure.
And he did it in a humorous way, right? It was really, really, like, it was, that kind of set the whole movie.
Yeah.
But while he's describing the scene to the Asian coworker, he's saying, this guy's over the top. This is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's one point in which Jonathan Groff's character asks him, Jay asks Naveen, like, it's not weird, right? And he's like, no, it's not weird. And then it flips back to his conversation with Paul, his coworker, and he's like, it was so weird. It's hilarious.
But so then they go out, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, they go to a bar after, and Naveen starts telling Jay about this like parking structure story at work. I'm like, what is going on? And in the flash forwards to the conversation with Paul is like, why are you talking to him about hospital stories? And Naveen's like, Grey's Anatomy is a hit show. Hospital stories are so interesting. And Paul is like, no one wants to fuck after an ER story.
I mean, I'm glad they didn't fuck after the first date. So she said that, which was amazing. My date was like, she's like, I don't understand why we fuck on the first date. I'm like, what are you talking about? We don't fuck on the first date. She was basically like, she does. And I was like, I don't. So then obviously nothing happened. But anyways, she's like, I'm so glad they didn't fuck because it's so genuine now. Like like, all you have to do is not fuck on the first date. Is this like a very hard thing to figure out in this culture?
Sometimes it's very hard. So
that's what she said.
But yeah. Okay. So then Jay tells him about how he was in foster care in 15 homes as a kid until he came to his parents' house, an Indian couple, and he felt like he belonged there and they ended up adopting him. So he also asks Naveen what he pictures for his wedding. And Naveen basically says he hasn't pictured anything, but Jay has. So then Jay starts talking about how he's pictured this really big fat Indian wedding, like it's beautiful, all the culture and everything. So I have a theory. I don't think men, and obviously it could be different for gay men, but I don't think straight men dream about their wedding details the way straight women do. Am I wrong?
I mean,
it was true for Brian.
Yeah, I don't see Brian dreaming about a big Brian, come on. Not in a negative way. It's just he has a lot of shit on his mind. He's got a lot of shit to do.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't dream about it, no. But when I was in my early 20s, everybody around us was getting married nonstop, right?
Yeah.
So the only thoughts that I had, it was probably the same thoughts you had. It's like, oh, I have to get married.
Yeah.
But I didn't really picture what it would be. I think I kind of forced myself into my first marriage, and then, it's all downhill. Not downhill, but it just didn't work out. Yeah. No, I don't know anyone that's dreamed of their wedding, but I'm not going to say who this person is just because I don't want him to know that I'm talking about him. But he's getting married soon, and he was like way too excited telling me about his wedding details.
Interesting.
And it reminded me of Jay. And I don't think his fiance is into the wedding as much as he is. So there is something there. So and I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, chill out.
So for my wedding, I was super into all the details, and I made a really concerted effort to make it familiar to both cultures and mix stuff because that was important to me for everyone to feel like they recognize something in it, like they could relate to it. And Brian appreciated that, but he'd never dreamt about any details, or I'm not going to say he didn't care about the details, but he didn't care what I chose. He just wanted it to work, you know?
I mean, it worked, right? Like, it was actually a really... If you can remember it, I was just... I wasn't joking, actually, a couple weeks ago when I said, who the fuck remembers weddings? But your wedding wasn't like the weddings I went to in Fremont in my 20s. And I don't care. Those weddings were all great as well. It's more so, I think, like, you can see the effort beyond the dizziness of the weddings that we used to go to.
Cool, thanks. Mission accomplished.
Whatever. Take that, Jay.
Yeah. So then they're about to kiss on the first date at the end of the night. And Naveen says he's got to go because he has work tomorrow early. Lives are at stake. I don't know why in my notes I wrote steak, like the kind you eat.
Are you hungry?
I don't know. Maybe I was right before I wrote this because
Give me
I
some
ate
steak.
dinner after. Yeah. So anyways, his coworker is giving him major side eye, Paul, and he's basically like, why are you so dumb for leaving? But
I don't know, man. I don't like that.
Dork.
This doesn't sit well with me. Like, you went on a date, everything went well. Why would you go back in time with a friend and the friend's like, why didn't you fuck? Bro, there's literally.
But it's not about. It's not
that's
about
what
fucking.
he meant. He's like,
it's just about.
He said that.
Yeah.
Paul said that.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah.
No,
Paul
Paul's
is
talking
like
about
that.
fucking. Yeah.
You know what Paul is like? Paul is like the girls in the bar. That story you told a long time ago,
yeah.
where these two girls were trying to force their girlfriend to leave with the guy. Paul's a little bit like that, but not as bad.
I get absolutely zero pleasure from hooking two people up, which I've never done, but it wouldn't do anything for me. What would I get out of two people leaving a bar or after a date fucking? Like, I think Paul, they never
Paul just
delve
thinks...
into his character. I think he's just supposed to be there as like an ancillary kind of, let me make some jokes to Naveen kind of character. He's throughout the entire movie, but they not once get into his backstory.
Yeah, but I also feel like he is there to be the opposite of Naveen, which is held back, not confident in his sexuality, and he's there to be like the opposite, like the encourager of that. Which also, I'm gonna say this, I think that, and I recognize that this is different because it's a gay love story, but I feel like this is a trope for Desi people, that they're like not confident, they're like really held back, they're really repressed. This is a bullshit trope, because I feel like a lot of Desi kids, even if they like project that with their families, like we talked about in the beginning, no PDs in front of your family, you're not like that when you're at work with your friends or when you're dating people necessarily, you know? So I feel like that kind of annoys me, but then in the context of him being gay and insecure about that, I could see it more, you know?
Yeah, maybe Paul's trying to encourage him to come out of his shell. It doesn't necessarily
I think that's what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. So when Naveen gets home, he finds an invitation from Jay to Jay's photography exhibit.
This is
and
fucking
maybe this
creepy,
isn't
by
like
the way.
right. Yeah, because everything's moving so fast in this movie. I don't think that's like the night he got home from the date. I think it's like a few days later.
It was a really strange edit though, right? Like,
it's
supposed to be a few days later or something. And then even my date was like, wait, he fucking went to his apartment after? I'm like, yeah, that's really creepy.
Oh man. Or he had his address and he got the postcard sent to it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but it is quick.
might
It's
have.
supposed to be a
Like,
quick turnaround,
yeah.
right? Like the second date is what you're about to describe, the art gallery. Sorry, the photography.
Yeah. So Naveen goes to Jay's art exhibit, which is a queer photo exhibit. But what he likes most is the photo of Jay and his parents. And it's Jay and his two Indian parents, and they're all wearing Indian clothes. And it's like a really beautiful family portrait. And Jay asks Naveen what he thought of the exhibit. And after some prompting, Naveen's like, he really liked that picture because it tells a story of Jay's life, and he could never put himself out there like that. Again, he's a really held back person, which in this moment I kind of get it more. Like, this is more about the character than I guess like projection onto South Asian people. It can annoy me when people make an assumption that we're all super closed off, even though a lot of us are closed off.
But I know we keep talking about these similar thematic elements of Desi culture and like how we date and how we live our lives, but we don't see the people in the United States or anywhere in any country where anyone is listening be out and about. It's a certain subsect of people in every culture that is open with their sexuality, open with their art interpretations, open with their dating style.
Yeah.
I think we focus on those people. Like, this movie is a gay love story. So we're talking about something that's unique. But overall, I think like everyone just kind of sits around. Not everybody is artistic, and every culture has artistic people. Like that Bloodywood show I went to last week, these are like Indian men from New Delhi playing heavy metal because it's a cultural reference from the West that they found on the internet, right? So you have to have some sort of like push. We don't know how Jay became a photographer. So this is a great point that you brought up, because last night, my date, we kept pausing it, right? Because she's like, She's never seen a movie like this. She doesn't know anything about the culture. So she's like, I can't fathom being in like middle school or high school thinking about becoming a doctor, going to college, then going to med school, then doing my intern and my residency, and then you're in your 30s. She's like, what kind of shit is that? She's like, I cannot even begin to compute this.
Holy moly. Wow. That's an interesting perspective. Okay.
Super interesting perspective.
Because that's so normal for like a lot of Desi kids.
Yeah, and I was trying to tell her that. And then she's like, she's like, if you think about the white doctors in the United States, overall, there's not that many. Even though population-wise, there's 70% of this country. So
you mean, I don't know what the statistics are, but I'm sure there are white doctors, but maybe they're not obsessing
the doctors in the United States are
like,
not 70% white. It's not even close.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
In terms of population, like we're obviously Asians and South Asians are overrepresented in the medical field and the engineering field. I don't know about lawyers. Lawyers seem to have a lot of white men.
No, yeah. Lawyers are so, it's not, yeah.
But she didn't go to college, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's why.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, that's different.
I'm not throwing her shit out there. I like her. I don't care if she didn't go to college.
I mean, you watch this movie with her, so yeah. Okay, so Naveen goes to visit his parents, and they have dinner along with Arundhitya and Manish. And his mom is prying into whether Arundhitya is pregnant. And then Arundhitya gets annoyed. She's like, why don't you ask Naveen about his life? And she's like, Naveen, do you have a boyfriend? And his dad is like, leave him alone. You're making him uncomfortable. And
yeah, I mean, the dad's like, being uncomfortable, right? Like it wasn't Naveen.
Yeah, the dad. Yeah, totally. So the next weekend, he meets Jay's friends, and he ends up having a whole bunch of focaccia that has cannabis in it, but no one told him ahead of time, and he gets high as fuck. This reminds me of a story about you.
Have I told this story on the podcast?
I think you might have, like a really long time ago.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Shabnam, did we skip
what?
The after photo exhibit scene?
What after photo exhibit scene?
Are you having a blackout or dude, they were like naked in bed.
Oh my God. Okay, you know what? Okay, yeah, you're right.
Are you scared of gay sex?
No, I watched this with my mom, so I didn't take notes.
Oh shit!
On that part.
You didn't write it down.
No PDA. We gotta.
That was beyond PDA.
So, yeah, it was very passionate. And they did. So was that their second date? This movie went too fast. They went back to his place, right? They never go to Jay's place.
Jay moves in. So you're right. The sequencing of this movie is quite quick. After the date that we just talked about, the art gallery, before he gets high on focaccia cannabis.
Yeah, and before he even goes to dinner with his family.
Yeah. So the second date.
Him and Jay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, him and Jay, they go back to his place. They get down and real passionate. They make love all night long. And
well, I don't know if they made love all night long. They were like making out on top of each other, and then the scene cuts to a commercial. Yeah. It was on Disney Plus. I guess I have commercials.
Oh.
Okay, so
that's funny. Yeah.
Here she paused it and she's like, wait. I'm like, oh my God, what? And I can't believe she asked me this. And this is why I think I'm going to back off. She's like, have you ever felt like this about someone? Like right away, like this much passion and stuff? And right away I was like, no, never. And I don't think I ever will. And then I was like, fuck. And I kind of like took it back. And I was like, I like hanging out with you. Oh my God. It was so like awkward.
But I didn't think that scene. I mean, the scene was kind of passionate, but
she's taking it as second date. They're basically, Naveen was like, "You're everything that I'm not." During the photo exhibit, I really like how you're putting yourself. Yeah, that was a lot of like passion built up before the actual making out.
I feel like it's kind of like, is there love at first sight or not? Right? Like, is there?
Yeah,
like,
I don't know if she meant.
Oh my God, you're my everything after 2 dates.
I don't know.
Like, I'm so into
tough.
you.
Like, what is that? Like, is that a thing?
I think that's more for younger people.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever have a feeling like that ever again, unless like Reese Witherspoon walked in and she's like, "Hey, you can have half my $1 billion." Then I'd be so passionate. I'm not into Reese Witherspoon. I don't know why I said that. It's just an actress I can think of.
Oh, does that girl look like Reese Witherspoon? Is that why you said that?
Oh my God, yeah, she kind of does. She looks like a cross between like Renee Zellweger from when she was a lot younger, Renee Zellweger in like Jerry Maguire. and then Reese Witherspoon from like Cruel Intentions.
Yeah.
I just, let me live my life, okay?
Okay, yeah, live your life. So Naveen goes and visits his family, and the whole point of him going to that dinner was for him to tell them about Jay, but he couldn't get it out. And I think that the point of his dad saying, leave him alone, you're making it uncomfortable, kind of shut the door on that. And you're right, his dad did it because his dad was uncomfortable, and it like prevented Naveen from kind of coming out of his shell in that moment. But, you know, it is what it is. So then Naveen goes, hangs out with Jay's friends. He gets high as fuck on that focaccia. And this reminded me of a story about you when your friend gave you chocolate and you didn't know what was in it. You ate it, and then you came to my house and we played Mafia.
Oh my God.
And you were lying on the carpet.
I wasn't a consumer of edibles back then, and I don't know if this friend's gonna listen. I already called him out many times in person. This was like over 10 years ago. But yeah, he said it was like chocolate, like legit. This is chocolate. And then I was driving to your house after. So the edibles take a long time to hit. So while I was driving, I was totally fine. But I do feel like he should have told me, especially because I was not a consumer of cannabis at that time.
Yeah, yeah.
But your chai that you made, man, I downed like 3 huge cups of chai at your house. And I can't sleep if I have caffeine. And I remember going home just knocking out.
That's hilarious.
I had all that fucking chai, and then your nephew was like biting my neck, and he's like, "I'm a monster."
Yeah, he was really little.
I was like, "Ah."
But he does care about consent because he said, "Is it okay if I pretend to be a dinosaur and bite your neck?" And you were like, "Okay," and you were really high, and you.
No, but he didn't actually put his lips on or his teeth on my. It was fake.
Yeah,
but he still asked if he could
pretending.
do it. He was a cute kid. He is a cute kid. Well, he's not even. It's not really a kid anymore. These kids are huge.
Yeah. So somehow Jay and Naveen end up at a gay karaoke bar where Jay and Paul, Naveen's coworker in drag, does a duet together. And it was super cute. But is this is a separate date? Is this after he stops being high, or is this that same night? Because he's in different clothes. They just keep doing this where they speed along their love story. It's kind of confusing.
Yeah, this story has 5 parts, right? Like they actually say the meet, the love, the wedding, whatever. It's 5 different parts.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're shoving it in really quick because then the families and the weddings come in, and then they shove that all in really quick.
Yeah. And so then Naveen starts thinking about how can he tell his parents, because he realizes like this is going really far along and he needs to tell his parents. So he rehearses it in front of the mirror. He's like, "Mom, you know how you bought me condoms? Well, now I'm actually using them because I met someone. Mom and Dad, you know how you like getting your picture taken all the time? Well, I'm dating a white photographer." And he's like, "You ever feel like Kajal after she hears the bell in DDLJ when she looks at Shahrukh and she just knows? Well, I do." And it's like, oh my God. This guy's such a dork, but eventually I'm sure he'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, they already showed this scene when he was messaging his former boyfriends, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we haven't talked about the mom that much. We will now because she comes more prominent later. But she's so overwhelming that this is how a Desi boy would be if that was mom in real life. We know many people like this.
Yeah. So basically, Naveen and Jay run into Manish, Naveen's brother-in-law, on their way to dinner with Naveen's coworker and a couple of friends. And Naveen's like, "Oh shit, my sister's probably going to know now about their relationship." And she calls him. He doesn't answer the call. They go to this dinner, and Jay and Naveen basically have an argument because the other couple asks them how they met. And Naveen just really flatly is like, "He took my picture at the hospital." And Jay basically wants more of an expression of love. And so the couple kind of changes the subject, and then Jay gets into it with Naveen, and he's basically like, "We met at the hospital, we started dating seriously, and he hasn't introduced me to his family." And then they go back and forth, and finally Naveen tells him that, "Look, I want a big Indian wedding, and I want it to be with you. I want a barat and a pundit." So then Jay's like, "So you mean?" And then they basically decide they want to get married to each other. And it's hilarious because Paul, that was quick too. And then Paul basically goes, "No more arguments or Naveen's going to end up pregnant." That was like the most.
That's a great line. That was an amazing line. Hey, we know who's the bottom here. Come on. I said the same thing yesterday, and then my date was like, "I think the white guy's the bottom."
She's totally flirting with you.
I know she is. That's why I said I'm not sure about all this. And I think even the text that we sent each other this morning, I think this has run its course.
Okay.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, dude. I'm just like, I'm like a cross between Jay and Naveen. I get like super like, I can be pretty open like Jay is, but then I get super like closed off right away like Naveen. So it doesn't work well in relationships.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say about this scene was, this is how I proposed to both my wives. It wasn't an actual like,
oh my God,
romantic proposal. It was definitely a conversation.
But did you actually ask it? Because they didn't even. Well, he does actually do a real proposal later, so we'll get to that when we get to it.
No, I never did that.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. So Naveen takes Jay to finally meet his family. Okay. And they were not expecting it to be a white guy because he doesn't really get to finish explaining to his dad on the phone. His dad basically like quickly hangs up and they just kind of roll with it. And his dad puts on a gay channel. Like you said, it was Out TV. And he's like, we put on this gay TV for you. And Naveen.
They're literally. It's so funny.
It's so much PDA, and Naveen explains to Jay that his parents do this to try to understand him. It's a lot.
But it was literally a black guy saying, "I'm down for that daddy dick." Like that's what he says.
Yeah.
That's what the Out TV thing was, and I'm like, is this porn or is this like broadcast television? This was wild. And then Jay and the dad are just watching it, and Naveen and the mom are in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's so funny. So Arundhitya is also there without Manish, and she's definitely on edge. So she says she didn't know that Jay was white, and Naveen is confused because she figured Manish would have told her. And she's like, no. And he's like, then why'd you call me? And she's like, forget about it. So there's something going on with her, we see.
Did you know?
I mean, I figured. Yeah, figured. Yeah, I figured. Yeah.
Because so when Jay Manish runs into Jay and Naveen, the scene that you described a few minutes prior.
Yeah.
Naveen knocks Jay's hand off, right? They're holding hands. So that's why Jay got mad.
Yeah.
But then he asks, hey, how's my sister? And Manish really quietly says, I don't know. Then I knew, I was like, oh, they're going to get divorced and Naveen's going to find his love and she's going to get mad. And then I was super validated in the next scene. She's a bitch, right?
So
what she does. This is wild.
Yeah, but she's also having an emotional moment.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Jay finally tells the family that he was adopted by Indian parents. So they're like, okay, we kind of understand now sort of what's going on and why he's culturally in the know. So Arundhitya says she would have liked to know that he was white, adopted by Indian parents before she met him. And the parents are like enthusiastic about the relationship, and Arundhitya's pissed because she feels like her parents are more open-minded with Jay and Naveen's relationship than they were with hers because she had some boyfriends in college and after, and they didn't like any of them, and then they arranged her with Manish.
Damn. I get her point.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucked up.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. So anyway, she says, I guess we should start planning the wedding, sarcastically. But both of their faces are like, yeah. So she goes, are you guys engaged? And then Naveen quickly says no, which totally offends Jay. And then he excuses himself to go to the bathroom and vape some weed.
Yeah, I understand everybody in this situation. What do you think?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
this is I understand everyone in the situation because we're desi.
Yeah.
That's why we know.
Yeah. So the family continues talking and Arundhitya's really annoyed. And she says to her parents, if I got engaged to some tatted up white guy before you met him, you guys would have been pissed. Where were you guys 8 years ago? She means like, where was this attitude of theirs 8 years ago? Right. And everyone's like, what is going on with you? But she's not ready to talk about it. So she excuses herself. So again, just like you said, this totally relatable. Okay, this is my hot take. I think the reason why they have such a different attitude with Naveen is because they know that he's gay, and so he's not going to have biological kids with his spouse, and so they care less in a certain way, and they're just kind of like focused on his happiness rather than, oh, what's the other family like, what's this relationship going to be like, what are the kids going to be like. I feel like they're a lot less focused on that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if it's because of biological children, but it's certainly they don't know how to raise a gay son. Well, he told them he's gay later in life, but I agree there's probably less pressure. And the only thing that can happen in this situation is auntie's gossip, and Naveen even says that. Like, what's the worst that can happen? And then I even said that out loud to my date. I was like, I don't see the difference between two men being married and a man and a woman. It like doesn't even affect me. Like especially living in California all these years, like how could it affect us?
Yeah.
I don't know though. I mean, that's a strange situation, obviously, for Desi people. I don't know. So she asked me last night, she's like, do you know any gay men in your culture? I said no. I was like, I think two or three guys that I know that they married women, though.
Oh, I actually pretty much know a gay interracial couple like this.
You're talking about a gay couple or a lesbian couple?
No, a gay couple.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you who it is after. You know them too.
Boom.
Like distantly.
Gossiping.
But, yeah. So Naveen's parents ask him about Jay's tattoo, and he tells them it's a tattoo of Ganesh. They think Jay did it for Naveen. So lame.
This is the best part. Do I love this part?
Yeah. Okay. So then the parents ask Jay what he does, and he's like, freelance photographer. And Naveen's dad says, no, for a living. And then the parents start talking in Hindi, and they tell each other, freelance is American for unemployed. And Naveen's like, Jake speaks Hindi. And then they're like, oh, and they stop talking.
He's like, one fun thing you should know about Jay is that he speaks Hindi. And the dad like called him a loser, essentially, in Hindi.
Yeah. So lame. So then Arundhitya basically busts Jay for smoking pot in the bathroom by telling Naveen's mom she shouldn't go to the bathroom. She's like, oh, what, are you not feeling well, Jay? Do we have Imodium? I don't think we have Imodium. And Jay's like, it shouldn't have left an odor, because apparently vapes don't leave an odor. And then Naveen's mom is like, well, that's not my experience with diarrhea.
That's I mean, yeah, good. What else would she be thinking it is?
Yeah, and Arundhitya's like, no, it's pot, mom. Then Naveen goes into damage control about how Jay doesn't do pot all the time, and Jay's like, well, that's not entirely true. And Naveen is like, can you not right now? And then Jay goes, well, I don't think your policy of lying to them about everything is really working. And then he leaves.
Drama.
Boom. And Naveen goes after him, and they basically have an argument about how Naveen isn't open with his parents. Okay, this is really Desi. Desi kids are not open with their parents. We are not open generation to generation. Yeah. You keep it within your generation. You don't need to do that where you tell your parents and blah, blah, blah. I'm sure it's even more the case with gay Desi people, but just across the board, Desi people generally. But the things we are open about are diarrhea and weight. Like, they will talk about your shit and they will talk about your fat super openly. Everything else swept under the rug. Don't you think? I know.
Yeah. I mean, every time I visit my parents, like, I'm a normal guy with a normal weight. And yeah, I fluctuate 10 pounds here and there because either I'm lifting weights or I'm doing cardio. And last time I went, my mom's like, oh, you're so skinny. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I know. I've been running. And then a few months ago, she's like, oh, you gained weight a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, I've been lifting weights. Like, it's just, what's the compulsion? It's because you're right. That's what they have to talk about.
Yeah, that's what they have to talk about. So Naveen goes back in to his family, and they all start arguing. Arundhitya, she's edgy as fuck. And Naveen is like, look, this guy makes me happy. And Arundhitya's like, since when does that matter? And finally it comes out that she's getting a divorce. And Naveen goes home to find Jay packing up his stuff and leaving. And so we find out Arundhitya's divorced. That's a disaster. Jay's leaving Naveen because he's offended. And of course, he needs to take his saffron before he leaves. So Jay says he should have known this wasn't going to work when he was singing Tujhe Dekha Hai Ye Jana Sanam in front of the theater to Naveen, and Naveen squirmed. Jay tells Naveen, you move through public spaces like your existence is an inconvenience, and you're very sorry to have caused anyone to notice you at all. It's like, damn, that's a deep cut no matter who, and I'm sure that's probably extra deep to a brown gay person.
Yeah, I mean, the movie portrays Naveen as exactly how Jay is describing him, though.
Yeah.
So I mean, but when you're beaten down that much, like not just by your parents, but by the culture that surrounds you, what is Naveen supposed to be like?
Yeah, that's true. I don't blame him for being like that at all.
This is weird, right? Because he's gone. Jay's gone. And then the next scene is Paul asking Naveen to get out there.
But also in that scene where they were arguing, I'm like, okay, Jay's singing was a little squirm worthy. It's like, how can you say that he shouldn't have squirmed?
Yeah,
it's weird to saying, like, it's like, okay.
It was weird. At that point, Naveen did not even know that Jay had Indian parents. Right?
Yeah,
until after the movie. So, and then he took him to the movie and stuff. I don't know. This kind of reminds me of like a white guy dating an Asian girl, and he takes her to like Chinese food. Right? Like, like in the 80s, I guess, or something like, or like an Indian person taking a white person to get burgers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So Paul tries to get Naveen, like you said, to go out there, and then he goes, big dicks are so 90s. Now moderate sized dicks are I'm like, oh, okay.
Dude,
whatever.
I'm so fucking stupid. I like asked my date. I was like, is that true? Oh my God. So this is where I was like, I don't think these two families are going to ever meet. I think she's going to listen to this podcast, but she told me my sister likes big dicks.
Oh, okay.
Unprompted.
I mean,
I asked, but I was like, I didn't ask about your sister. I was just like making a joke.
She could not lie. So
yeah, good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as we talked about earlier in this episode, yeah, some generations of different cultures are quite open with each other.
I don't even know what to say, but good for her.
No, don't respond to it. Let's go. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Okay. So Paul tries to get Naveen to get out there, like we said, and they go out. And after their wild night out, Naveen's totally drunk, and they get back to his place, and Arundhatiya's in Naveen's house waiting for him. She doesn't want to stay with her parents because they had a fight, and so she takes her spare key and she comes into his house. And then he tells...
She's like, are you fucking this guy too? She's like, you
got
another boyfriend?
She's like, how many secret boyfriends do you have?
Yeah. And they're like, no, never. And
yeah. And so then after Paul leaves, Arundhatiya asks Naveen, where's Jay? And he's like, Jay left. And so she's like, well, I guess if your relationship was that fragile, I did you a favor. And he goes, wow, I wonder why you got a divorce. And she gets super pissed. But I feel like that was fair game after that.
Yeah. My date said that too. She's like, dude, this lady, she is going through a divorce and it's tough, obviously. But not being happy for your sibling because you're going through a divorce is pretty fucked up.
Yeah. So the next morning, he asks her why they got a divorce. Like, seriously, they're having like a conversation over coffee. And she says she asked him about what to wear to a work event of his. And he said he doesn't care as long as she shows up. And she says she felt like she had to marry him after they went on their first date, and that she doesn't want to stay in a loveless marriage just because that's what their mom did. I don't know. I feel like the comment itself wasn't bad, but if she just doesn't feel connected to him and she doesn't like him and she feels like he doesn't care about her, then that's a different thing.
What do you think? I mean, I have some similarities in my second marriage where I felt like I put in a lot of effort in like smaller details and stuff, and she like just didn't care. And the only time she cared was if I had to do something around her family. So I kind of understand where the sister is coming from, because it's kind of a lonely place to be when you're living with someone and you're trying to connect with them, vibe with them. Even if it's something small, it should be an easy conversation. But if it's going to be difficult and he's going to ignore you, I don't agree with him, Manish. I definitely agree with the sister. I don't think that's the only reason she's divorcing him, right? In a situation like this.
Right.
It's probably a recurring pattern. To be ignored like that is pretty hurtful.
Yeah, I think it's the intention, right? If someone's like, I'm sure you look beautiful in whatever you wear, I'm just so happy that you're there to support me. That's very different than like, I don't really care what you wear, right? I guess it's like how you say it and what was said, Yeah. So she tells Naveen that she wishes. Okay. So she tells Naveen that she wishes. Oh my God. What the fuck?
Hey, Woody Woodchuck, Woodchuck Pepper, Woodchuck Wood.
Okay, so she tells Naveen that she wishes she had something real like Naveen and Jay have. So after praying to Ganesh about it, Naveen decides to make a super cheesy edited video of DDLJ, Tujhe Dekha Ye Jana Sanam, the video, and he replaces Shah Rukh Khan's face with his, and he declares his love for Jay. And he sends this video to Jay through the couple that Jay is friends with. And the end of the video, he tells Jay, "You are beautiful, you are wise, and I'm lost without you." And Jay's friends play this video for him. And of course, Naveen is hiding in the house at that time. And then he comes out after the video's done playing, and he officially proposes to Jay, and Jay says yes. And that's how they get back together.
Cool. I ain't doing shit like that.
That was
like, come on, man.
Was
you guys
cheesy.
just got into this big fight and you made a rendition of DDLJ, which was honestly pretty hilarious. Like, it was. Yeah.
So Naveen talks to his parents about the wedding, and they're trying to decide what type of wedding to have. And they say, we thought you would want a more gay wedding, where there's matching suits and a fancy barn and one of your friends becomes an internet priest. And they're like, no, we want an Indian wedding. And so they have this awkward conversation back and forth where they try to figure out how to put some of these Indian traditions into a gay couple's wedding. So the dad starts off and he goes, which one of you is the bride? And later the parents have like a coded conversation about how uncomfortable they are. And Naveen's mom insists she's not, but the dad doesn't believe her.
Yeah.
I couldn't quite put my finger on what was coming out of this conversation, but I feel like the mom's putting more of an effort. She's doing the most, putting more of an effort forward, even though it's like not landing a lot of times. And the dad's like not doing as much. So he's not really trying, but then he's also less offensive. So I don't know. It's complicated and difficult.
Yeah, which is what it would be, right? So this scene, like it's actually, we talked about how every Desi stereotype is shoved into this movie, and it is. But if this was a real scene, this is about as good as a mom and dad could be. It's sad to say, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, I think you're right. So over conversation, the family basically discusses Arundhitya, and Naveen's mom is like, marriage is about adjusting. You should be adjusting to life with Manish. And she says she can't because she's not going to live with someone who doesn't love her and who she doesn't want to love. And the family kind of continues their wedding plans. Like you said, the mom's talking about adjusting. And the kids don't adjust and all that
she's
stuff.
insulting the dad throughout this, which really got to me a little bit. So their entire marriage has been the mom beating up on the dad. The mom is implying that she doesn't love the dad throughout the movie, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of, they're talking about adjusting arranged marriage versus love marriages. But the dad is kind of quiet. And then I think this is a twist that comes up in the end of the movie with the parents, right? Well, I mean, it's like the simplest of twists, but it's like a very feel-good twist. But the dad wants more. The dad doesn't believe in arranged marriage almost.
Yeah.
In my
the
view.
dad wanted more for his life. He wanted to live his life according to his own choices, but he wasn't allowed to, which we get into later. So eventually... They're doing all the wedding planning. Then Naveen confronts his dad about his discomfort about the wedding, and he thinks his dad is afraid of what people will think. And his dad tells him, ungrateful children, just decide things. You know how much say my father gave me in my wedding? He says, well, maybe you're fine in a loveless marriage. And then the dad goes, is that what you think of your mother and I? And then Naveen's like, we'll send you an invite, but no obligation to come to the wedding. They have this, it's pretty like,
near the end of the movie to have this sort of confrontation is sort of strange. The pacing in this movie doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
This movie's over see, like, 5 minutes later, right? So a lot of it gets like, look, I like this movie a lot, but that scene where they're describing hey, who's going to wear the dress and stuff like that, that's a rip from Key and Peele, where Key and Peele had a sketch, Black Family, they go, and literally the questions are almost the same. It's not a rip word for word, but the Key and Peele sketch is, who gives who away? And then it's hilarious. It's like 15 years ago though, right? So it's a little bit less woke. Yeah. But have you seen that scene or Key and Peele? It's almost exactly the same.
Oh, wow.
And then it seems like this movie just got really forced. The writing got really quick. It's almost like the movie was 2.5 hours long and it's only 1 hour, 39 minutes. So the pacing kind of fucks up the end. And that's just not in like a terrible way. I still enjoyed it, but I did feel like it was way too rushed at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So like the parents kind of go through this like tiptoeing around each other, trying to have a conversation about how they feel about all this, and they don't really have it and all of that. And then the mom ends up realizing that, and they eventually have the conversation. So she goes and she yells at the kids in the apartment and she's like, tells them they should be more respectful. And
random just like shows up and starts yelling before a wedding. This is like why I was like, dude, this lady needs to chill out.
Yeah. So she's like, you all of a sudden announced your engagement. That's why your dad is having a hard time with this. And then she tells him she's afraid of saying one wrong thing and being cut out of his life because he basically, like you said, announced he was gay and then disappeared for 6 years. Yeah. And I can see, like you said, I think this is the best case scenario for Desi parents. And like, it was honest and it was forthcoming for her to
I do agree with what she said. I do think there's a propensity to potentially cut out parents if they say the wrong thing. Yeah, I agree with her there. So I think being on eggshells around a Desi South Asian kid because of how they grew up, which is also how the parents grew up, it is a real thing. So yeah, she has all these convoluted thoughts. I totally understand that part. It's just that she's too aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah, she's doing too much. Yeah. So Naveen's dad goes to Jay's exhibit he's like trying to connect with them. He's trying to put forward some effort now because he sees that his wife has done a lot. So he goes to Jay's exhibit. He looks at all the photographs. He first comes up to the ass shot and they take a picture of him there. And that was funny. And then he sees the picture of Jay with his parents and he really connects with that. So that's when he asks Jay over for dinner, but he invites him to cook with him. So they're making korma and Jay says, why don't we add dates? Which is what the fuck? We don't add dates to korma.
Oh my God. I know. Even the dad was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
And
like
so then,
cook dates?
That's not in South Asian cooking. They do that in some Middle Eastern cooking, but yeah. So Naveen's dad tells Jay that his dad beat him and left a scar on his arm for telling his dad that he wanted to be a chef. And in the end, he tells Jay that Naveen has good instincts and he's a good kid and he's really happy and he accepts them. He basically is like, my parents' beliefs were imposed on me, but I'm going to try not to do that to you guys and I accept you. Yeah. And as a show of good faith, he adds dates to the korma and the family enjoys the dinner. It's like nice. A feel-good scene.
Yeah, it was.
But
really nice.
I feel like, I don't know.
I don't like the dates in the korma. A little too nice, a little too quick.
Yeah, he didn't need to add the dates to the korma. He could have just given the speech. So then we see the wedding festivities began. We get this really amazing voiceover from Arundhitya, and she says, you do all this and you hope it lasts forever, and if it doesn't, you do it all again for someone else, because the easiest thing to believe in is love. Then later on in the night is when we see that the mom gives this like unexpected speech at the wedding where she talks about her marriage, and it's really hilarious because she alludes to sex. She's like, I was nervous, I'd never done it before marriage, and everyone's like, oh my God. But she's talking about cooking, and she talks about how she wasn't good at it, and after trying and failing, her husband, who's a great cook, started doing the cooking, and she was so happy and she fell so in love with him that they conceived their first kid, Arundhitya.
That night. I know. I was like, oh.
And she's like, if you're lucky, in time, you will see that the love you have today seems small because your love will grow and grow and grow, and it will never stop growing. I don't know. That kind of made me emotional.
Yeah, it did too. But I had someone next to me, so I held it together.
Okay.
But she's right. I mean, this is what we're like kind of building up into the end of the movie. This is literally the end of the movie. The mom finally realizes that the dad loves her. It is pretty sad after like 30 years that she's like, oh, he's loved me this whole time. It hasn't just been adjusting to each other.
Yeah, and you can see his reaction to her giving this speech. He feels so validated and seen. It's like a really beautiful scene.
Yeah. I mean, then maybe arranged marriages do work out. Who knows? It's almost like there's
it just takes
formula.
30 years. Yeah. There's no perfect formula, I guess. So then we finish the movie with Naveen's entire family doing a beautiful Bollywood dance for Jay. And Naveen starts out by saying, there's nothing gayer than Bollywood. And the family starts dancing to Jason Derulo's, I forget who the South Asian singer is, but it's like, baby, let me see it, jalebi, baby. That song. Yeah.
That song is so stupid.
And then,
I'm sorry. I was listening to that song. I'm like, what the? I've never heard that song. And I didn't know it was Jason Derulo until I saw this note of yours. But that song, I don't know, it was all right.
Yeah. And so that's the end of that. That's the end of the movie.
Feel good.
But yeah, it's like a feel good high note. Kind of a lot. So many tropes in here. So much going on. But a beautiful love story. A funny, beautiful family story. Well, should we do some tea time?
Yeah, so like this kind of shit makes us think about our childhood and stuff, and that's why we do this tea time, because it's like we already talked about all the complications in our brain that comes out of watching movies like this, right? But tea time really quick.
Yeah.
So our last tea time was so juvenile, like Tom Gore made outsourced.
Outsourced.
And Aisha Darker starred in it, but today I have a little bit something different. Jonathan Groff, who is Jay in the movie, he's my daughter's like favorite singer. So he was in the original Hamilton with Lin-Manuel Miranda and everybody. So he's the only white cast member, like main cast member of Hamilton. Yeah. So 2015. So he did that, and he's been in a bunch of other movies as well. And I think that's why I was saying like he was singing in the beginning of the movie. So that's Jay, but you're the one that told me this. Zarna Garg is like a big time comedian. comedian.
Hell yeah.
She has like 1.2 million followers on Instagram. I'm not going to say she's like the best actress or anything, but she was like some corporate Wall Street person, raised her kids, and then started doing comedy, and she made it.
Yeah.
Like she literally made it as an adult.
Yeah, she started doing comedy, I think, when they were in high school. And she has a podcast with her family where they talk about some of these like cultural things and all. One of her kids goes to Stanford, and it's pretty interesting.
And her podcast is called The Funny Brown Mom.
So cute.
Everybody go check that out. Yeah, so she's great. She's funny. She has a whole website and her story, and she's like, no one is doing Indian mother-in-law jokes. That can't be right. So there was a niche for this, right? Overall, comedians are... Look, South Asian comedians, in terms of representation, we fucking kill it. We do. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Like, we overrepresent, but female, I don't think so. So it's great.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, it's so cool to see her. Yeah.
And then the last thing that I wanted to tell you was this, like, we can do whatever we want to do, right? So when my date is like, hey, I don't understand how you can have the fortitude and the desire to become a doctor and you stick with it all these years, right? Shabnam, get this. Roshan Sethi, the guy that made this movie, he's a film director, right? And he's made other movies that you've heard of. I'm not even going to list them because it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Motherfucker's a physician.
Oh, damn.
He's a doctor from Canada.
He first became a doctor to please his parents, and then once he did that, he's like, okay, let me go do what I really want.
Yeah.
This is why 40 is the new 30, because your 20s as a South Asian kid don't count. That's for your parents, and then you start your own life. That's what I feel like.
Instructor in radiation oncology, Harvard Med School. Wow. Roshan Sethi, MD, Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, Boston, Massachusetts. Unreal.
Crazy. Yeah.
So I wish I told her that last night. I didn't know that. I researched it this morning. Yeah. But it's the same thing. Zarna Garg.
Zarna Garg. Yeah.
It's too much gay. Zarna Garg, like, she was super successful in business, and now she's a successful comedian. Like, how many more times am I going to listen to immigrants this, immigrants that? We fucking kill it.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are we even talking about at this point?
Yeah.
Tell me. Like, who? Tell me somebody that is like a big time lawyer, doctor, not just like in buttfuck Kansas, but at Harvard. And then he's like, no, I'm kidding. Let me make some 98% Rotten Tomato rated movies. Unreal.
Yeah, totally.
We should get this guy on, by the way, Roshan Sethi.
Yeah, we should. That's some good ass tea,
right? Yeah.
You're right, man. I don't even know what to say about immigrants. You're so right.
Kal Penn was born here, but like that motherfucker went to Stanford. He worked in the Obama administration, became gay, married a white man, and still killing it. And he's
is in the movies.
And he's in the movies.
Like, what can't we do?
Exactly. We can be gay too.
Yeah, we can be gay. We can be straight. We can be doctors. We can be movie people. We can do anything.
Lily Singh, the original YouTuber. Like, she was one of the original YouTubers, right? I think she's gay as well.
She's LGBTQ. I don't know exactly what.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah,
I need to
there
remove
could be.
myself from these
there
white
may
women.
Be.
Yeah.
There may be. You need to do some more research.
Need to get out to Toronto. Dude, she has 13 million followers on Instagram. I don't think I can send her a DM.
I think you're going to get lost in the shuffle.
Oh, it's worth it.
All right.
Let's go.
Yeah. Should we get out of here?
Yeah.
So find us at Chai After Dark on TikTok and Instagram and on all podcast platforms. Please give us a 5-star review, 5 stars only, and write us an awesome little review. We'd love to hear what you think. Only good things. If you need to criticize us, do it privately over at chaiafterdark at chaiafterdark.com in our email, where we can sob quietly on our own.
Yeah. Cool. Gotta go later. Jingle out. I'm about to slide into Jay's DMs. Let's go.
Dun, 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 dun.